You're talking about all the indoctrination that's
Yep.
going on.
Yep.
Why are you not one who's exiting? Why are you still sending your kids to that school if all these bad things are happening that you're pointing out?
Right.
Why do you choose to continue sending your kids to that school? I get it. You know, you're a taxpayer. I do understand that. But if all this poison, all of this garbage is going on, and they are doing this on purpose,
Right.
why?
You know, that's actually a very good question. I congratulate you. That's actually very insightful. I've actually questioned myself on this. Here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it. Now, I did take my youngest out, and I told her I won't put her back until they get rid of this stuff. When I first moved,
So you have how many are in right now?
one.
You have one child.
I have one
Okay.
girl. And when we first moved here, I was caught off guard. I'm telling you, this is a different country. And because, I mean, there's like 50 churches in this city, and this is Trump land. This is a conservative area. I was like, I never expected this to happen. So I was kind of caught off guard with my earlier girls, but now let me tell you like this. I have so many friends at homeschool. When I was living in Mexico, I have so many Christian friends at homeschool. I didn't want that for my kids. I thought that I want them to confront these problems, but in order to do so, I have to prepare them. I have to inoculate them. I have to be just overtime on educating them on these problems and the deception that can occur. So I did that with my children. I left them in public schools, and that's my last daughter. I actually thought about taking her out. She wanted to go, but we had some serious talks. She's probably more alert and more informed on critical race theory, on diversity, inclusion, and equity than any of the teachers. They cannot deceive her on this. Global warming, this nonsense, they can't trick her on this. She's the one who came home and told me, my teacher is teaching natural selection incorrectly. And I said, oh, how so? Show me. And she explained to me clearly, and I said, good. She is better prepared than the teachers on these things. Okay? So the way I look at this is like this. It's kind of like, I'm just going to use an analogy, say like swimming. If I have a daughter that knows how to swim, I don't have a problem letting her go to the pool. But if I have a girl who doesn't know how, no, I'm not going to let her. So I was going to go on, but that's how I view this. If someone were to ask me, should I send my child to East Normal School? I would probably not recommend. I'd probably say no, I can't recommend it. But there is a possibility that there is this person who says, hey, but my daughter is incredibly, she's mature for her age. She has confronted these things. Okay, I would probably say yes, because I also want there to be a light in that school. I kind of use the verse in 1 Corinthians 5 where it says, but you can't leave the world. You can't leave all these sinners, because you do have to do this, and you do want these people getting saved. My daughter, I have a daughter who's just, right now, she showed me she is number one in her class, or tied at number one with other students.
So because she's a Christian,
yes,
and she's knowledgeable,
yeah, she's
a light at the school, so she's better than everybody else?
I don't know, she's not better. No, but look, I would say this. I have probably sinned more in my life than most people. Mm-hmm. I am worse than most people. This has nothing to do with being better.
Okay, and I wasn't attacking your daughter. Forgive me.
But. No. She is not better, but she is smarter. She's my smartest. I'm telling you this. I'm just telling you about this one girl I have. She had her school. It's elementary school, but she had the Rubik's Cube record at 8. When she was 8 years old. She's left-handed. No, but she's actually just a very, very intelligent child. She doesn't have to study much. She's like one child. I never have to help with her homework, everybody else, oh, help me read. I mean, that one girl, I don't have to do anything. And the one, and you know what? And the one thing East Noble does very well is sports. And she happens to like sports. And I'm like, I don't really care that much about sports. That really wasn't a big factor. But because my daughter wanted so bad, and she is alert, and we did have to have a talk about this book because I had to tell her, didn't a red flag pop up on you when they gave you a syllabus for your parent to sign, and yet you started reading that book before I signed it? How did they catch you off guard on that? But we did discuss this because she has to be prepared. She needs to be ready for those things.
Okay, I can
And I don't, but I have not guaranteed her that I will not pull her out next year.
Okay. Now, I'm going to move on to a couple of, to wrap this up. If you're still with us, I applaud you. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's a long interview, but there's a lot of good information coming out of this interview. And I'm getting to know things about Bret that I never knew before. Facebook, it's a cesspool. People get on there and fight.
Yeah.
Get on there and fight back and forth all the time. It's everywhere.
Right.
Pull up a couple of comments of yours, if I may.
Oh. My mean comments, right?
Yes, your mean
not my
comments.
nice.
You were having a conversation with somebody about Engage East Noble and people who are participating, and you said this: many men and women on Engage I have very little respect for, but mostly women. How can you say such a thing? You don't think that's going to create a firestorm with these ladies?
Well, wait, okay, hold on a second.
If you don't,
Do you have the whole context?
I don't have the whole context in front of me.
Well, is that something that is still online that you can't find that so I can see the whole context?
I don't know if I can.
Well, I just want to see exactly because I'm usually very careful when I say things like that.
I can't find it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Or I'm just going to say how if someone wrote me that right now, what I would say.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I do not deal with people as groups. I deal with individuals. I treat everybody as an individual. So if I said that, it's because there were more women than men arguing with me. There's almost never any men. Okay.
Well, you said many men and women on Engage.
Right. There are many men and women on there. But it's mostly women.
That's what
but it's mostly women who speak out against me.
Oh.
This past week, there's been like one guy and 5 women. And so I would have said there's hundreds of people on there, men and women. But it's almost always the women who are arguing against me. And they're the ones arguing and promoting the LGBTQ agenda. And they're the ones who are in favor of the sexually explicit material. Those are the people who I do not have respect for. And it's mostly women. That's where I'm coming from. There's very few men who agree with this. And I think it's because men know who men are. And you're not going to fool a man with this sexual stuff. Men, no, don't trust men. This is bad. This is not good. And so, but all these women, for some reason, and the reason I say that is because some woman just wrote me before we came here. I was reading something, and she does not understand the way I think. I do think there is a difference between men and women, and I do think it is mostly men who are affected by sexual content. I think they're more susceptible to fall into fornication than women. I think women are more likely to be deceived by transgenderism. I think there's more contagion within women than within men, and we can discuss these things. But no, I do not disrespect women. That's nonsense. That's ridiculous. I try to treat everybody.
So the context was on this quote was, if I understand you correctly,
right.
Now that I read it more carefully, it's the women that on Engage because there's more women than men.
Yeah, there's more women arguing in favor of sexualizing children than
And
men.
you don't respect that. That's not a blanket statement that you
No,
don't.
of course not. That's ridiculous. That's why I wanted to see the whole context.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I don't think like that. I treat everybody as an individual.
Okay. Well, look, we've covered quite a bit of ground. And before I close, is there anything else that you would like to? I do have a quick question.
Okay.
Are you willing to have a verbal conversation over the phone or over coffee? I doubt that'll ever happen. You're kind of, but with anybody, like a lot of these ladies that engage with you on Engage, you have pretty rough conversations. Would you ever be willing to sit down and talk to them on the phone?
Yeah, I would rather in person. Why don't they go to the board meeting and we can talk at the board meeting? So if there's anybody out there that really actually wants to speak with me, let's do it in person. Go to the next board meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a board meeting.
Which is Wednesday, the 20th.
Yeah, but by the time this is posted,
Yeah,
go to the next board meeting.
Okay.
Go to the next.
So you're willing to talk to people
Of course.
in person?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I'm not hiding from anybody. If I'm wrong on something, I want to know and I want to change it. If someone would come to me with Bible verse and say, "Hey, you're out of line here. You need to calm down. You need to be more respectful," but show me verses
Right.
of why this. But the people who I've spoken with, their approach is like, "Well, Jesus was never disrespectful." Oh,
Well, real quick,
slightly.
what about comments you make online like, "You're off your rocker.
Yeah,
You are so incoherent.
yeah. Well,
You lie all the time."
they do.
That's
Well, wait a second. I don't say that. I don't think I say exactly like that. I have been presented with many lies. They twist my words. They make straw man arguments, but I don't think I've ever been like that direct. You are a liar, something like you. But
I have seen comments
Yeah.
where you said,
that,
"You're lying."
oh, I have.
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe I've seen.
They were lying.
Well,
They
you
were
believe
lying.
it's wrong to call out a liar
No,
if you think somebody's lying.
no, of course.
I mean, people call you
They call me.
much worse.
I know. I haven't said anything worse than them than they said to me. I don't know why I mean, to me, that's like so silly. I mean,
Right.
like come on. These are kids. They're crybabies. This is nonsense. What? Just let it go. I mean, really? I'm pointing out, when I say, no, that's a lie, or you made a strong, I don't believe that. You're twisting my words.
Okay.
Why don't you be more honest? Really, that is that offensive. I mean, I don't know what happened to this culture, but I see my girls going at each other. You're a liar, you're this, you're that. I mean,
I remember there was a time back in the 1940s, which was, however many years ago, young boys ages 16, 17, and 18 were called up by Uncle Sam and said, "You will come and you will go to basic training and you will go fight for this country."
oh yeah,
And many of those boys went overseas
Yeah.
during the Normandy invasion. We've all, or maybe you haven't, I would encourage you to watch if you haven't seen it, footage of these boys getting off of those boats at the beaches of Normandy, not even making it off the boats, getting a bullet in the head, stepping in the water, drowning because of the weight of what they were carrying.
right.
You think these boys were easily offended by words?
No.
Think about that, folks. Let's just think about that. Let's not be so offended by words. If I look at you and say, "Well, that was really stupid," is that really that earth-shattering? I don't consider it that earth-shattering. Now, if you look at me and say, "Oh, you're just stupid," well, then that's a different story. And I'm not going to talk to you anymore because there's no point.
Well, and let me say that, and let me actually confess, because I do talk to a lot of people, and I'm not hiding from anybody. There have been times when I think I've crossed the line. There have been times when I thought, that's unnecessarily mean. Yeah, I probably should have said that. But to make such a big deal about it, I think that is, I think they go too far. because I know sometimes they call you, oh, he's mean. Oh my goodness. Really? Are we that soft?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes people say things and I like, how we talk, like we have to have a roll of duct tape around my head to listen to some of this nonsense. It's like, yeah, sometimes I get frustrated because my daughter has come in and she's seen it. Oh, that's so mean. I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
And she's laughing though. I'm laughing. Well, is it that bad? If it really is that bad? And she goes, well, I wouldn't have said it, but but my girls are tough.
I wonder why.
Well,
Do you abuse your girls? Are you mean to them?
yeah.
Do you disrespect them?
Oh, you better believe it. Those are my girls. I'm going to be mean to them, but they're worse to me.
I've met all your daughters and your wife, and it's obviously how much they adore you.
If you can't see it, talking about abuse, I might have a broken. I don't think it's broken, but it's definitely bruised. I was doing a karate fight with my 12-year-old today, and she broke my finger.
Karate fight with your daughter?
Yeah.
You sure you want?
Yeah.
You want to advertise that?
Is there something wrong with that?
On CPS, Child Protective Services.
She beat me up.
She beat you up.
Yeah. Call them on her. She was laughing. She thought
That's awesome. And that's probably a good ending point, unless you have anything else you want to add to this.
No, and just because I'm sure that if we haven't said anything, I'm sure you're just going to post it on Facebook and say, hey, Bret, look what I posted. We're having a meeting tomorrow. What?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I would encourage anybody else, talk to each other. Let's keep the lines of communication open. It's easy to sit behind a keyboard and rip each other apart. Let's talk. Let's have those conversations. Let's be willing to stand up for what we believe and articulate why we believe it. And whether you like this man or dislike this man, whether you agree with him or do not agree with him, one thing is certain. This man has the courage of his convictions to stand up for what he believes in and to come and set under fire and take all of these questions. So with that, let's all learn from that example, and maybe things will get a lot better. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll catch you on the flip side.